Welcome back to Sim Sunday and welcome to another In Our Bucket and Spade series. We'll get something a little bit different for you in this video. Of course, we're back in XPlane 11 at the capable controls with the Real Airbus pilot in a flight factor Boeing 757-200. But what's different about this video is we're going back in time to August 1985. We're starting at Belfast International Airport, also known as Aldergrove. And of course, the Real Airbus pilot is going to take the flight factor Boeing 757-200 in the livery of British Airways Landor, which was the livery back in the day, from here in Aldergrove down to Corfu, one of the Greek holiday islands on the Ionian Sea, less than 6 miles off the Greek mainland and just across the Adriatic from the heel of Italy. And for me, what is extra special about this video is this was the first ever bucket and spade foreign holiday, or should I say beach holiday, that I ever took back in August 1985 when living in Northern Ireland. However, back in 1985, EasyJet didn't exist, so you'll have to forgive us for the little quirks of this video as we try to recreate a flight that I took 34 years ago at the time of editing this video. British Airways were the launch customer for the Boeing 757. It replaced the Hawker Sydney Trident on all of the British Airways, or the BEA as it was known back in those days, European and domestic shuttle services between London Heathrow and, as I say, Belfast was one of their main routes, operating nearly every hour between Aldergrove and London Heathrow back in the day. As the Real Airbus pilot prepares this flight factor 757 for the 3.5-hour flight down to Corfu, it's a great time to remind ourselves that these 757s would have mainly been sitting on the ground at the weekend, because the vast majority of their customers, or should I say passengers, would have been businessmen and women travelling between Belfast and London during the week. Right, time for me to shut up and let the Real Airbus pilot get this aircraft out to the runway and on his route down to the sunnier climes of northern Greece. I do remember vividly that we did depart on that day back in August 1985 on runway 25, even though I didn't actually know it was runway 25 at the time. It was certainly the westerly direction runway at Belfast International. My sister was sitting on seat 1A and I was sitting in seat 1B next to her, and our parents were behind us. What I remember most about that flight was I got a trip to the cockpit. Yes guys, it was certainly a long time before 9/11, and passengers back in those days were allowed up to the cockpit when invited by the captain. When I arrived in the cockpit, we were in the latter stages of the flight, and I remember the captain pointing out the auto throttles to me. I remember him telling me that the Boeing 757 was the first aircraft he had ever flown with auto throttles back in 1985. What you have to remember is back then, this aircraft was state of the art, and that's why nearly 4 decades later, there are still plenty of 757s still flying today. With my last flight in this awesome aircraft on board an American Airlines 757 between Glasgow and Philadelphia back in September 2017. Right, the Real Airbus pilot is about to jump forward to the landing phase of this flight into Corfu, which today is runway 34, and that of course was the very same runway that we landed in back in August 1985.
Speedbird 8757, fly heading 340, report the field at sight.
Fly heading 340, report the field at sight. Speedbird 8757. Center, Speedbird 8757.
Speedbird 8757, cleared visual approach, runway 35, contact tower on 120.85.
Cleared visual approach, runway 35, contact tower on 120.85, Speedbird 8757. Tower, Speedbird 8757.
Speedbird 8757, runway 35, you're cleared to land.
1000. Runway 35, Speedbird 8757. $500. $100.
There you go, a runway incursion, well spotted in plenty of time by the Real Airbus pilot now operating a go-around. I can tell you that didn't happen back in August 1985, but it just goes to show you that a runway incursion can happen at any time, and it was very well spotted in plenty of time by the Real Airbus pilot. Okay, time to go around and start the approach all over again. $500. $100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Speedbird 8757, get taxi via 35 Alpha 3.
There you go, guys, 2 landings, all for the price of one on this flight from Belfast International down to Corfu. The Real Airbus pilot has flown the flight factor Boeing 757-200 now a couple of times on the channel so far, and he tells me it's his favourite virtual aircraft in his virtual aircraft hangar. All, of course, on XPlane 11. So as he pulls onto the stand, it is time to bring another episode of Sim Sunday to a close. On the next video, I plan to take you on the last European bucket and spade flight that I ever took, and that, of course, was from Glasgow down to Tenerife South, on board a Boeing 737-800 in the livery of Jet 2. So until the next video, thanks for watching, and whatever you're flying in your virtual world, don't forget to fly safe.